Okay, so it looks like Michael Chandler is about to be a free agent pretty soon. I'm not sure how many fights he has left on his contract, or if it's a date, or if it's a time type of contract to where, on a certain date, that's when his contract is up. But it seems like it's going to be up pretty soon. And Bellator should be getting worried. Bellator should be trying to pick him back up. I just don't think there's anything left for Michael Chandler over at Bellator. Michael Chandler lost his, just to refresh everybody's memory, Michael Chandler lost his belt over at Bellator NYC due to that leg injury. His leg was fucked up. It really was. His foot or something like that. And he lost it to Brent Primus, undefeated fighter, but Brent Primus is now, he wanted immediate turnaround, immediate rematch. A dominant champion should get an immediate rematch. Brent Primus has been hiding. That guy has been ducking Michael Chandler, openly ducking Michael Chandler. He has not been in the octagon for a year. Literally 1 year to date, to this day. Brent Primus has not been in the octagon. He thinks that nobody notices, but we all notice, and it's not hurting him. It's not hurting Michael Chandler. It's hurting Bellator. Because there's nothing left for Michael Chandler. I was listening to Michael Chandler maybe a month ago on when he fought that guy Grits on I was listening to him on MMA Hour, and it was like Patricio, and they were calling in and wanting to fight him. None of that shit is interesting. None of that shit is interesting, and it didn't sound like Michael Chandler was interested in it. It didn't sound like he was interested in fighting those guys. It seemed like he was over it. Michael Chandler used to give me a vibe that he really loved being at Bellator. He loved being the face of the lightweight division and basically the face of Bellator back before it started picking up all of these old UFC names. But I'm sure that Michael Chandler is starting to get pushed to the side a little bit, because now they've picked up a Rory McDonald. They've got an MVP. They've got Aaron Chalmers. They've got Gegard, Fedor, Chael. All of these people, these names that they've picked up, they're going into different markets, almost into bigger markets than what Michael Chandler is right now. Michael Chandler is kind of like, he's a meat and potatoes guy, he's just that guy who, he's not talking a whole lot of shit. He's training, he's going back home to the family, he's eating, probably some basic ass meal. He's not living lavish, he's not out here trying to stun on people. He's just a regular down-to-earth dude that knows how to kick some ass. I think that it's time for him to make that move to the UFC. UFC needs to offer him a contract. I know that the lightweight division, it doesn't need any more names. It doesn't need any more glitz or glamour. But it just adds it adds another element in that division. We all know that's the best division. But it just adds one more element there. Think about the matchups. Michael Chandler, Kevin Lee. Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez 2. Michael Chandler, Ferguson. James Vick. Michael Chandler just fought that guy Grits. I'm pretty sure he's not afraid to go in there and fight a Vick. But he could fight anybody top 10, top 15 and up. He could fight anybody, and it would be a great matchup. I think he needs to make that move. Bellator has been sticking it to the UFC by picking up all of their old heads, picking up all of the guys who still want to fight, all the free agents. But I think it's time for UFC to go ahead and pick up one of their guys. Because the UFC can take a Bellator guy and turn him into a star. Bellator cannot make their own fighters stars. They cannot do it. They cannot do it. Aaron Pico is going to rack up enough wins until he can move over to the UFC. That little Irish guy from SBG, he's going to rack up enough wins until he can move over to the UFC. That's it. They can't make stars out of their Bellator people. They can only get people who already have stardom and just hopefully bring their fan base, and hopefully their fan base likes what they have to offer. But for Michael Chandler, I think he needs to go free agent and see what offer UFC gives him. Now, if it's a shitty ass offer that the UFC gives him, 20-20 or 40-40 or something like that, then I would pass on it. But Michael Chandler needs to make a move. Definitely needs to make a move. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks.